Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to That's Football. The transfer window is definitely hotting up and we've got some big battles going on between Liverpool, Newcastle, Chelsea, Arsenal and many more potentially. But let's fly straight into it. What we're going to talk about on the show today, we're going to talk about Lavia. Arsenal apparently are moving ahead on that one, but you know, it's like a bloody set of scales. You never know which way it's going to tip with Lavia. Southampton are confident they'll get 50 million. Should he be going for that much? We'll also be talking a little bit about Harry Kane, Kylian Mbappe. Why is Declan Rice not official yet? I thought it was. We spoke about it yesterday. Apparently it's not. It might be now. That's the biggest order you've ever done for Rice, isn't it? I mean, I'm complaining. I ordered this 2 weeks ago. Where's my Rice? But let's get into what the headline says. Liverpool want Chelsea star. Well, they want Levi Colwill. He was on loan at Brighton last year. I think he's only 20 years. He was only 20 years old, and I don't, very much. Brighton tried to go for him. Chelsea have said no. Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp would like him. Chelsea are saying no. It's an interesting one because he is a really good, potentially really good centre-back, and Chelsea would be foolish to let him go. And Liverpool would be a big club to let him go too. Have Chelsea sold enough yet that Pochettino can go out and get the players that he wants? I still think Chelsea at the moment, I know they bought the striker in from Villarreal. I might be having a complete and utter blank here, but look, Chelsea need to start buying more players. The people are back in training now, tours are coming up, and Chelsea were nowhere near Europe last year. So you're not just going to get back into Europe with Pochettino. They've got to start signing players. Have they got the funds? Would they consider selling Colwill, or would you keep a player like that? And personally, I would. Liverpool want a centre-back. Obviously, they've moved away from Lavia. We're going to talk about that in a moment. And Thuram looks like Newcastle are going to go for him, actually. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. But Liverpool want a centre-back. Do I think they could get a Chelsea player? Look, Arsenal have took Havertz, Man City have took Kovacic, and Manchester United have taken Mount. You can't sit here and say Chelsea won't sell to another Premier League rival, because they will. They need to raise money. But is it going to be a Mason Mount situation, or is it going to be a Havertz situation? I think with Havertz, Pochettino wanted him to go and he went. I think with Mount, he wanted him to stay, but Mount had made his mind up. And with Colwill, I suppose it will come down to what he wants to do. Does he want to go and play for Liverpool? Does he want to go and play for Brighton? Or does he want to stay at Chelsea? The indication is that Chelsea will fight hard for this one. I think ultimately it'll come down to the player. The interesting thing is, from a Liverpool point of view, is I saw a report this morning that they're linked to the Torino centre-back, Pershers. Probably completely got his name wrong, but we will all remember him from his time at Ajax with Ten Hag. Obviously, he's now playing in Serie A. I remember him being linked to United a few years ago, and I can't, you almost go, what happened to him? And I think he ended up with an injury that sort of stunted his growth a little bit as a player, not as 6'3", doesn't need to grow anymore. But 22, I think he is. Look, if you've played centre-back for Ajax, especially in a Ten Hag system, then you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a centre-back that's comfortable on the ball, that's comfortable in 1v1s, and, is a good centre-back. The move to Torino was a little bit, probably people might have expected a slightly better move than that, but Liverpool looking at him and Jurgen Klopp looking at him, and definitely a deal that they can do. And as a centre-back, I think he's not super fast, but he's not slow. Obviously, he's good in the air. He's good on the ball. And be interesting deal that Liverpool could look at, and they're clearly looking at a centre-back. I personally thought Liverpool might move in for Timber, but obviously we're expecting that to be announced today. Well, he's going to be an Arsenal player, but Liverpool definitely looking for a centre-back. So keep your eye on those two. As Jurgen Klopp, always efficient. Liverpool, when they make their mind up, efficient. So you'd expect Liverpool to have a centre-back in the next week or two for their pre-season, because it's clearly an area that Jurgen Klopp is looking to beyond the midfield now. Now, they were looking at Thuram of Nice. They're not going back in for him as far as we know. They were interested in Lavia, but they're not interested anymore. I mean, if you've seen the pictures of Jordan Henderson, he looks like he's going to be in Rocky's 10. He's absolutely ripped. He's been down the gym. As Henderson fell off, I think he did last year, but he's obviously taken it to heart, because he's training up proper. So it'd be interesting to see just how Jordan Henderson hits this season. He's obviously put a lot of work into pre-season, and Liverpool have started giving off that indication we don't need Lavia. We've got players that can play that position. So looks like they're going for a centre back. Doubt they'd go back in for Thuram. We were talking about him in the week, and he's not really a defensive midfielder. Thuram, he's more of a box to box. He started off as a holding midfielder in his career, but he has become more attacking. Newcastle certainly are looking for midfielders like that. We know that Tonali's more of a sitter. So if Thuram came in and gave them that box-to-box role, it just starts to build out your midfield, which is really important when you're trying to go for top four again and you're trying to get in the Champions League. So keep an eye on Newcastle. They have brought Tonali in. They're expected to bring others in. I saw they got linked to... who did they get linked to? Completely gone from my head. Not German, plays in the German league. Oh, winger. I can't remember his bloody name. I had him on my FIFA career mode as well. I can't remember his bloody name. Somebody in the chat will go. But look, Newcastle looking like they're going to do some business anyway. And that would be obviously long overdue in the sense that who they're competing with, that squad from last year into the Champions League. Newcastle don't want to just slip away out of the top four, which is going to be very competitive. Talking about the top four, we expect Arsenal to clear Rice and Timber officially. Both players are going to sign, but officially they've not signed yet. Lavia is interesting. Southampton still think they're going to get 50 million quid for a player that's in the Championship now and is 19 and has not played 30 games in the Premier League yet. So that's a lot of money, isn't it? He's not got a British passport either. I mean, it's amazing money. And if Southampton are confident of getting that amount of money, I just wonder, is it because they know there are clubs in that are going to compete against each other? Because if you've got only one club in, and I think this is why Liverpool backed out as well. Personally, I think with Lavia, it's between Chelsea and Arsenal. And I think that's why they know they're probably going to clear a good price, because Chelsea, as we know, will bid big, and Arsenal want another midfielder. We saw Xhaka go to Leverkusen yesterday. Partey's on thin ice. I really think Arsenal are going to go hard for Lavia, and I think they'll win. I do. I think they'll win on that, because Chelsea will be able to offer a 20-year contract and good wages, but they can't offer Champions League football and they can't offer a title race. And I think Lavia at Arsenal, I can just see him in an Arsenal shirt more than a Chelsea shirt. I might be wrong on that, but just what we're hearing is that Arsenal haven't finished and they clearly need another midfielder. It's all right spending £100 million on Declan Rice, but if Partey and Xhaka go, what's your midfield too? I know Jorginho's there and I think Al-Nini's there still, isn't he? But, they're going to go, it'd be interesting what happens with Thomas Partey, because it looks like they want to move him on. I thought Xhaka might stay. The fact that he's gone, I think Arsenal are going to go in for Lavia, I really do. Harry Kane, apparently Spurs are a little bit pissed off with him for speaking to Thomas Tuchel, but look, Spurs need to take control of that situation. We've discussed that before. And Kylian Mbappe, look, that's football. We do Champions League watch-alongs in the season, we do the Euros and the World Cup, so we're aware of European football. And the Kylian Mbappe situation, apparently there's a July the 31st deadline for Mbappe to sign a contract, or they're going to move him on. How they're going to do that's really interesting, because Mbappe has apparently got... I was speaking to Andy Brassel, the TalkSport European transfer expert, last Sunday on my show, and he mentioned something along the lines of, if Kylian Mbappe was to leave while he's still under contract for PSG, there is some sort of bonus or something that needs to be paid or something like that. It's a huge amount of money to take Mbappe out of PSG, but PSG might have to... What I'm saying is, if it's going to cost you 200 million to take Kylian Mbappe now, PSG are a bit like Spurs. They've got to go, well, we're going to get nothing in a year, so forget the 200 million, we'll take 100 now. PSG are going to get themselves in that situation, aren't they, where if Mbappe says, I'm not going, they're going to have to let him go for cheaper than nothing, aren't they? So I just think it's a really interesting one. I know it's not Premier League specific, and I don't think he'd come to the Premier League. I think he goes to Real Madrid. But PSG are in a right state there. He's going to go for nothing if they're not careful. Anyway, get your comments in below. Liverpool fans, what are you thinking about the centre-back situation? Chelsea, you're sort of involved in ins and outs. What's going on with you? Arsenal, do you agree with my theory? Do you think Lavia is heading to Arsenal with that extra midfield spot probably going to be available? And Mbappe, how do you think that's going to happen as well? Also, Newcastle fans, we don't hear a lot from you. What are your thoughts on your transfer window so far? Get your comments in below. Make sure you smash a like on the video, and please do subscribe. Remember, we're getting closer and closer to 1 million for this fantastic community. Take care. Have a good day. I'll speak to you in a bit.